Hi, everyone, and welcome to Go English Talk. I'm Mizu.
And I'm Lucas. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everyone, welcome to Go English. I'm Mizu. This is the place where we learn simple English, real English, the kind you can use in real life, not just in textbooks.
Hey everyone, I'm Lucas. Welcome back to English learners from all around the world. Before we start, let's slow down for a second. Relax your shoulders, maybe smile a little. Yeah, learning English can actually feel good, right?
Exactly. And English isn't only for exams or work emails. We use English to talk about our lives, our feelings, and our culture. Lucas, quick question for you. How's life these days? Work, study, everything?
Pretty busy, to be honest. Lots of small things, lots of plans. But lately, something feels a bit different. People around me are talking about family, going home, starting fresh. How about you, Mizu?
Oh, same here. Busy days, but there's this warm feeling in the air. And that's when I realized this time of year is really special for so many people.
That's true. So let me ask you and everyone watching something simple. Have you ever thought, how do I talk about Lunar New Year in English?
Yes! You know exactly what it means in your heart, but when you try to explain it in English, you suddenly pause and think, how do I say this naturally?
Right. Because Lunar New Year is not just a holiday. It's about family. It's about hope. It's about new beginnings. And many countries celebrate it, but in different ways.
So today, we're not here to memorize big words or long explanations. We're here to learn how to talk about Lunar New Year in English in a simple, comfortable, real-life way.
The kind of English you can use with foreign friends, at work, or in everyday conversations.
Simple sentences, real feelings, English that connects people. All right, let's start talking about Lunar New Year naturally and confidently.
Let's get started. So, Mizu, one thing that always confuses people is the date. Every year someone asks, why is Lunar New Year on a different day again?
Yes, that question comes up every single year. And the short answer is simple. It's because Lunar New Year follows a different calendar.
Right. Most of us use the solar calendar, the one based on the sun.
Exactly. The solar calendar, also called the Gregorian calendar, is what we use for work, school, meetings, and daily life. January, February, March, those dates stay the same every year.
But Lunar New Year doesn't follow that system.
No, Lunar New Year follows the lunar calendar, which is based on the moon.
So instead of the sun, it follows the moon's cycle.
Yes. A lunar month follows the phases of the moon, from new moon to full moon and back again. Because of that, a lunar year is a bit shorter than a solar year.
And that's where the difference comes from.
Exactly. Since the lunar calendar doesn't match the solar calendar perfectly, the dates shift every year. That's why Lunar New Year usually falls between late January and mid-February.
So it's not random, it's just following a different system.
That's a great way to say it. And one important thing to remember is this. people don't replace the solar calendar.
Right. They still use the same calendar as everyone else for work, school, and daily schedules.
Exactly. The solar calendar is for everyday life. The lunar calendar is mainly for cultural traditions and festivals. Lunar New Year is calculated using the lunar calendar, but life continues on the solar one.
So, if a learner wants to explain this in simple English, they can say something like, Lunar New Year follows the lunar calendar, not the solar calendar.
Or, even simpler, the date changes every year because it's based on the moon.
Clear, natural, and easy to understand.
And that's really the key. You don't need to explain everything perfectly, just help people understand the idea.
So, to sum it up, Lunar New Year marks the beginning of a new year. It follows the lunar calendar, and that's why the date changes every year.
And for many people, it's still the most important holiday of the year. Not because of the date, but because of what it means.
So, Mizu, after understanding what Lunar New Year is, the next question feels very natural. Why does it matter so much to people?
That's a great question, because for most people, it's not about the calendar at all. It's really about family.
Family coming together, right?
Exactly. Lunar New Year is one of the rare times when everyone tries to go home, even if they live far away or have very busy lives.
And some people travel really long distances just for that.
Yes. Long bus rides, long flights, crowded roads, but people still do it because being together at the start of the year feels important.
There's also a strong sense of respect during this time.
Very much so. It's a time to show respect for parents, grandparents, and ancestors, to say thank you and to remember where you come from.
So, in a way, it's about looking back at the old year.
And gently letting it go. People say goodbye to the old year with all its good moments and difficult ones and prepare their hearts for a new beginning.
That explains why homes feel different around this time.
Yes, they feel warmer and busier. More conversations, more shared meals, more laughter, and sometimes a little noise, too.
And I think many people also believe the beginning of the year is special.
That's very true. There's a common belief that how the year begins can affect how the rest of the year goes.
So people hope for good luck, good health, and happiness.
Exactly. That's why you often hear people say things like, it's a time to start fresh, or we believe how the year begins matters a lot.
Those sentences are simple, but they carry a lot of meaning.
Yes, and that's something learners should remember. You don't need complicated words to talk about deep cultural ideas.
So Lunar New Year becomes more than a holiday.
It becomes a moment to return home, to reconnect, and to begin again with hope.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And that feeling is exactly what makes Lunar New Year so important to so many people.
Mizu, let me ask you something. When you mention Lunar New Year, do people usually think it's only celebrated in one country?
Yes, very often. Many people are surprised when they learn that Lunar New Year is celebrated in many countries, not just one.
So it's really an international celebration.
Exactly. Many countries celebrate Lunar New Year, but each country has its own traditions and its own way of expressing the same feelings.
All right, let's make this concrete. Which country comes to mind first for you?
Vietnam. In Vietnam, Lunar New Year is called Tet, and it's the most important holiday of the entire year.
And how about China?
In China, it's often called the Spring Festival. Families gather for many days, and the celebration is full of energy, color, and hope for the year ahead.
I've also heard South Korea celebrates Lunar New Year too.
Yes, they do. In South Korea, it's called Seollal, and it has a strong focus on respect, tradition, and honoring family.
So we already have Vietnam, China, and South Korea. Does it stop there?
Not at all. Singapore and Malaysia also celebrate Lunar New Year, especially in communities with Chinese cultural roots.
What about Taiwan?
Taiwan celebrates it as well, with family gatherings, traditional foods, and time spent together at home.
And even parts of Indonesia, right?
Yes, in parts of Indonesia, Lunar New Year is recognized and celebrated by certain communities too.
But does it happen outside Asia as well?
Definitely. And this part is actually really beautiful. In the United States, cities like San Francisco and New York City host massive Lunar New Year celebrations. San Francisco's parade is one of the oldest and biggest outside Asia, with dragon dances, floats, and street fairs.
As far as I know, in New York City, there are also big Lunar New Year celebrations in Chinatown and Sarah D. Roosevelt Park, with cultural performances, lion dances, and parade day energy that feels almost like fireworks.
Yes, that's right.
No way. That's amazing. And in Europe?
Yes. In the United Kingdom, London's Lunar New Year festival around Trafalgar Square and Chinatown brings together hundreds of thousands of people with dragon dances, music, food stalls, and traditional performances.
That sounds like such a lively, festive atmosphere.
It really is. And in France, especially in Paris, the Asian communities host special Lunar New Year events with lion dances, workshops, and cultural programs that celebrate Asian arts and traditions.
What about Australia?
Australia has very big celebrations too, especially in Sydney, where the Lunar Festival takes over neighborhoods like Chinatown and Haymarket with dragon boat races, lantern displays, performances, and community gatherings.
So whether you're in Asia or Europe or the US or Australia, people are celebrating Lunar New Year and bringing their traditions with them.
Exactly. It shows how meaningful this celebration is, not just in one region, but all around the world, because people carry their culture and joy wherever they go.
That means Lunar New Year isn't limited to Asia.
Exactly. Many overseas communities around the world celebrate it as well, especially in large international cities.
So you might see parades, public events, and celebrations even far away from Asia.
Yes, and that's one of my favorite parts. Different places, different styles, but very similar feelings.
Family, connection, and new beginnings.
That's right. And for learners, this is a great thing to remember. When you talk about Lunar New Year in English, you're sharing a global story, not just a local one.
And English becomes the bridge between cultures.
Exactly. Different traditions, one shared feeling.
So, Mizu, let's talk about Vietnam for a moment. When people talk about Lunar New Year in Vietnam, what do they usually call it?
They call it Tet. And in Vietnam, Tet isn't just important, it's the most important holiday of the year.
What makes it feel so special?
Everything slows down and everything turns toward home and family. Before Tet arrives, people clean their houses very carefully, almost like they're clearing space for a new beginning.
And it's not just cleaning, right? There's a lot of decorating, too.
Oh, yes, a lot. Homes are decorated with fresh flowers, decorative plants, and traditional ornaments. You see flower branches, potted trees, bright colors, and symbols of luck everywhere.
So the space itself feels different.
Exactly. Tet in Vietnam is very beautiful, not only inside homes, but also outside, on the streets, in markets, in neighborhoods, across the whole country.
So it's not just a family feeling, it's a national feeling.
That's a perfect way to say it. The streets feel more colorful, more lively, and full of energy, like the whole country is getting ready for a fresh start together.
And during Tet, family gatherings are at the center of everything.
Yes, people come home, sit together, share meals, and enjoy simply being together. Family time really becomes the heart of the holiday.
And people also care a lot about how they look during Tet, right?
Yes, especially on the first days of the new year. Many people wear traditional Vietnamese clothing, like áo dài. Some families wear matching áo dài, take photos together at home, and then visit relatives and loved ones. It's a beautiful way to show respect for tradition and to celebrate family unity.
And food plays a big role, too.
Traditional foods are everywhere, and each dish carries memories and meaning. They're not just eating, they're sharing tradition.
So, what are some traditional foods people often talk about during Tet?
Traditional foods like bun chung and bun zai are very important during Tet. Bun chung is square-shaped and represents the earth, while bun zai round and represents the sky. Together, they show gratitude to nature, respect for ancestors, and the hope for a balanced and peaceful life.
So, the food itself tells a story.
Exactly. Making and sharing these foods is a way for families to remember their roots and pass traditions to the next generation.
I've also heard about lucky money.
That's right. Adults give lucky money to children as a way to wish them luck, health, and happiness for the new year.
And people also visit relatives and elders.
Yes, visiting elders is very important during Tet. It's a way to show respect and to wish them good health and success in the year ahead.
So, if learners want to talk about this in simple English, what can they say?
They can say, in Vietnam, we call it Tet. Or, family time is the most important part.
Simple sentences, but full of feeling.
Because Tet itself is full of feeling, warmth, beauty, and hope for a new beginning.
And before we move on, there's something we really want to say to our Vietnamese learners.
Chúc mừng năm mới.
And wishing you a year full of good luck, good health, and prosperity. All right, Mizu, let's move to China. When people talk about Lunar New Year in China, they often use another name, right?
Yes, in China, Lunar New Year is often called the Spring Festival.
I really like that name. It already sounds hopeful and fresh.
Exactly. Spring Festival represents new life, growth, and a fresh start, which is why the celebration usually lasts for many days.
So it's not just one night or one meal.
Not at all. It's a long celebration filled with family visits, shared meals, and time spent together.
Family reunions seem to be a big theme again.
Very much so. Families travel long distances to gather, sit around the table, and welcome the new year together.
And people also care a lot about appearance and clothing during this time, right?
Yes, during the Spring Festival, many people wear traditional Chinese clothing, such as hanfu or qipao. Wearing traditional clothes helps people feel connected to their culture, their history, and the spirit of the new year.
And there's also a strong focus on luck and prosperity, right?
Yes, people really care about starting the year with positive energy, good fortune, and hopeful wishes.
That's probably why red is everywhere during this time.
Exactly. Red decorations fill homes, streets, and public spaces. Red is a lucky color in Chinese culture, and it represents happiness, success, and protection.
I can already imagine the atmosphere.
It's very lively. There are big family dinners, fireworks lighting up the sky, and celebrations that bring people together in the streets.
And food must play an important role too.
Yes, very important. Traditional foods are a big part of the Spring Festival, and each dish carries meaning. For example, many families eat dumplings, which symbolize wealth and good fortune. Another popular food is nian gao, a sticky rice cake that represents growth, progress, and a better year ahead.
So food is not just about eating.
Exactly. It's about sharing wishes, traditions, and hopes for the future.
So if learners want to describe this simply in English, what can they say?
They can say, red is a lucky color in Chinese culture. Or, families gather to welcome the new year together.
Clear, natural, and easy to remember.
Yes, and just like in other cultures, the heart of the celebration is still the same: family, hope, and a good beginning.
And before we move on, we'd love to share a New Year greeting for our listeners who celebrate in Chinese culture.
新年快乐!
Wishing you good fortune and prosperity in the year ahead. Mizu, I'm really curious about South Korea. What do people call Lunar New Year there?
In South Korea, Lunar New Year is called Solal.
And does Solal feel different from other celebrations?
Yes, it has a very calm, respectful, and traditional feeling. Solal is deeply connected to family, respect, and gratitude.
So what happens during Solal?
Families gather at home, just like in many other cultures, but there's a strong focus on honoring elders and ancestors.
I've heard people dress very beautifully during Seolal.
That's right. Many people wear hanbok, traditional Korean clothing, especially when greeting elders or taking part in family rituals.
That must make the atmosphere feel very special.
It really does. Homes are decorated simply and neatly, and everything feels calm, respectful, and meaningful.
And food is an important part too, right?
Absolutely. One of the most important dishes is tteokguk, a rice cake soup.
And eating it has a special meaning.
Yes, in Korean culture, eating tteokguk symbolizes becoming 1 year older and starting the new year fresh.
That's such a lovely idea.
It is. During Seilal, people bow to elders, express gratitude, and receive warm wishes in return.
So if learners want to describe Seolal in simple English, what can they say?
They can say, It's a time to show respect to elders. Or, traditional values are very important during Seilal.
Simple sentences, but full of culture.
Exactly. Salal reminds people to slow down, look back with gratitude, and move forward with respect and hope.
And before we move on, let's share a New Year greeting for our listeners who celebrate Selal.
Sehe
복 많이
buk
받으세요.
mani badaseo.
Wishing you lots of luck, health, and happiness in the new year.
You know what I really love about Lunar New Year, Lucas? People sometimes think it belongs to just one country.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
But honestly, it's celebrated in so many places around the world.
Exactly. Lunar New Year is truly international. You'll find it celebrated across Asia, including countries like Singapore and Malaysia and far beyond, where different cultures live together and share these traditions.
Right, so it's not limited to just one culture. And in Singapore, Lunar New Year feels incredibly lively. Streets are decorated with red lanterns, markets are full of music and lights, and families gather, just like everywhere else, to share meals and good wishes.
Yes, that lively feeling is very strong there. Malaysia is similar. Families celebrate at home with traditional food, and there are also public events and open houses where people visit each other, even across cultures.
That's really special. And we can't forget overseas Asian communities. In cities around the world, Lunar New Year is a big moment for connection and cultural pride.
That's right. In places like the United States, Canada, Australia, the UK, and many parts of Europe, Asian communities organize parades, festivals, and public celebrations. You'll see dragon dances, lion dances, fireworks, and huge crowds coming together.
Yes, and what's beautiful is how tradition and modern life mix so naturally. Some people wear traditional clothing, others dress casually, but everyone shares the same feeling of hope, renewal, and starting fresh.
Exactly. And even though the celebrations may look different from country to country, the heart of Lunar New Year stays the same. It's about family, gratitude, respect for the past, and hope for the future.
I agree. Lunar New Year changes with time, with new styles, new places, and modern life added in, but the spirit never changes.
A fresh start, warm reunions, and good wishes for the year ahead. That's something people everywhere can understand and feel.
No matter where it's celebrated, Lunar New Year reminds us that beginnings matter, and sharing joy makes them even more meaningful. Lucas, can I be honest? A lot of learners tell me they know about Lunar New Year, but when a foreign friend asks them about it, they suddenly freeze.
Oh, yes, that moment like, I know this, but how do I say it in English?
Exactly. So let's imagine a real situation. Someone at work or school asks you, "Do you celebrate Lunar New Year?" What would you say?
Honestly, you don't need a long answer. You can simply say, yes, I do. It's a very important holiday in my culture.
That already sounds natural. And then they might ask, "How do people celebrate it in your country?"
Right. And this is where people think they need perfect grammar, but they don't. You can talk from experience, something like, we spend time with family, eat traditional food, and welcome the new year together.
I love that. Simple, warm, and real. And sometimes they'll get curious and ask, "What do you usually do during the holiday?"
That's my favorite question because it's personal. You can say, I usually go home, relax, eat a lot, and enjoy being with my family.
Yes, food always shows up in the answer.
Always. And that's okay. When you talk about Lunar New Year, feelings matter more than details. You're sharing joy, not giving a presentation.
Exactly. You can talk about how it feels. Busy, warm, exciting, meaningful, even if your sentences are simple.
That's the Go English way. Focus on feelings and experiences, not perfect grammar. If your listener feels your story, your English is already working.
And when you speak from the heart, the conversation flows naturally. That's how real English happens. Before we wrap everything up, Lucas, can we do a quick little review? Not a test, not a quiz, just a friendly check-in with some key words we've been using today.
Yes, I love that. More like, hey, these words are already familiar now. Not sit up straight and study.
Exactly. All right, let's start with the big one, Lunar New Year.
When you hear Lunar New Year, you don't think of just a date, right? You think of family, traditions, food, and that feeling of starting over.
Yes, so learners can simply say, Lunar New Year is an important traditional holiday in my culture. Simple, clear, and very natural.
And that brings us to another word we used a lot today, tradition.
Traditions are the things people do again and again, year after year, like cleaning the house, family meals, special food, special clothes.
Right, you don't need to explain everything. You can just say, we have many traditions during Lunar New Year.
Now here's a really beautiful word. Gratitude.
Oh, I love this one. Gratitude is about saying thank you, not just with words, but with actions and feelings.
During Lunar New Year, people show gratitude to parents, grandparents, and ancestors. So you might say, it's a time to show gratitude to my family.
And then we talked about visiting relatives, visiting elders.
Yes, you can say, we visit relatives and wish them well. Very simple English, but very meaningful.
Another word that came up naturally is celebrate or celebration.
To celebrate doesn't always mean a big party. Sometimes it's just being together, eating, talking, and laughing.
Exactly. We celebrate Lunar New Year with our family. That's perfect English already.
Now let's talk about a new beginning or a fresh start.
This one is so important. Lunar New Year is about letting go of the old year and welcoming something new.
So, learners can say, it feels like a fresh start, or it's a new beginning for the year ahead.
And finally, a phrase everyone loves, prosperity and success.
Yes, prosperity means doing well in life, in health, work, and happiness. Success doesn't have to mean something big. Sometimes it just means peace and progress.
So a very natural wish is wishing you health, success, and prosperity.
See? No difficult words. No pressure.
Just real English connected to real life and real feelings.
And when words are connected to feelings like this, you don't need to memorize them. You remember them naturally. All right, before we say goodbye, Lucas, let's slow down for a moment and look back at everything we talked about today.
Yeah. Not to repeat everything, just to hold on to the feeling of it.
So, first of all, Lunar New Year isn't just about dates or calendars.
It's really about family, coming home, being together.
And it's about new beginnings, letting go of the old year and welcoming a fresh start.
We also saw something really beautiful today. Lunar New Year isn't celebrated in just one country.
Many countries, many cultures, many traditions, different foods, different customs, different languages.
But the heart of it feels very similar everywhere.
And maybe the most important thing for English learners is this. You don't need difficult words to talk about your culture.
Simple English is more than enough.
So if you remember just 3 little ideas, remember these.
It's about family.
It's about starting fresh.
And it's about connection. All right, now it's your turn.
Yes, we've been talking a lot today, but we really want to hear from you.
So let's practice together right now.
Tell us, do people in your country celebrate Lunar New Year?
And if they do, what's special about it where you live?
Maybe it's the food. Maybe it's the decorations. Maybe it's a tradition that only your hometown has.
We are honestly so curious. We love learning about different cultures through your stories.
So take a moment and write a comment. Tell us where you're from and how Lunar New Year is celebrated in your place.
Simple English is totally fine. Just share from the heart.
We can't wait to read your comments and celebrate these beautiful traditions together. Before we go, we really want to tell you something important.
You don't need perfect English.
Your culture is already interesting.
English is just a bridge, a way to share who you are with the world.
So don't rush. Don't be afraid of mistakes.
Speak slowly.
Speak from the heart.
And if today's episode made you feel a little more confident,
A little more connected.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Go English.
It helps us keep creating warm, real-life English conversations for you.
And remember,
Practice a little every day.
see you next time. Happy learning with Go English.
And Happy New Year to all!